Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Spotlight. I am Crystle Lampitt, and I'm very pleased to have a bunch of people from Kansas City in here tonight. We've got Victor and Penny and the Loose Change Orchestra. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. Now, I do want to point out, Victor and Penny, it's actually Jeff and Erin.
That's right.
Yes. But we like the name Victor and Penny because...
Just sounds nice, doesn't it?
It's just got a nice ring to it, and it just stuck. You guys have, you know, kind of carried it on through the years, and it's got a nice ring to it. We're going to kick off the show with Wake Up Early. Wake Up Early.
Yeah.
And this is on your newest album.
Yeah, this is
right?
our brand new album. Yeah.
So Victor and Penny, everyone, and the Loose Change Orchestra.
Sharpen and the coffee's on. Wake up early. You better wake up early. Start shaking it off. You better wake up early. Start shaking it off when the news comes over the phone. Oh, wake up early. Throw those curtains open.
We can surely have a day. Don't you worry, honey, it's all we're hoping. Why go any other way and run away?
You better hurry before the coffee is gone.
You better hurry while the coffee is gone. Wake up early, throw those curtains open. We will surely have our day and run our way.
Wake up early. You better wake up early. Yeah, you better wake up.
Start shaking it off. You better hurry when it's gone, it's gone. You better wake up. Start shaking it off. You better hurry when it's gone, it's gone.
That was Wake Up Early by Victor and Penny, and you guys are actually Jeff and Erin.
That's right.
But we do like the name Victor and Penny, and I know you kind of told me earlier that it was something that just sort of organically came about, but tell us a little bit more about the origins of the name.
Well, we were doing a play here in Kansas City, a new play, and we hired Jeff. I was producing it and also acting in it, and we hired Jeff to come down from Chicago and be the music director and co-write some material.
And where was this happening at?
It was at what is now the Living Room Theater. It was one of their very, very first productions in that space after they took over. And so the character that he played, the band all played a character, so they were on stage the whole time, so we decided to give them names. And they were a band of hitmen. So his name was Victor California and the Dead Ringers. And we just loved that name, Victor California. So we started doing a couple gigs together. We decided to kind of cross-promote and work with that name. So we picked Penny for me, and we picked Penny Arcadia from Penny Arcade, like Paper Moon, the song. It's a melody played on a penny arcade.
Okay.
So I'm Penny Arcadia and he's Victor California. We just thought that was kind of fun. I don't think we ever intended that this would be the forever band name of...
Yeah, it just kind of stuck like band names do.
Yeah.
And I think we decided early on too, we weren't really going to portray characters on stage. It was just going to be kind of...
You are not characters, you're just Victor and Penny. And also, to add to that, you're now married.
Yeah.
That's right.
So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That just happened.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
But how long have you guys known each other?
Oh,
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, long time.
Long time.
We knew each other. Our rock bands played together in college. But
That's so cool.
Yeah, we played, I think our bands, I went back and looked, I think our bands played together like 12 times. So we had all our friends in common and we had all of our experiences in common, but he and I were really not friends. Like, not friends, we were acquaintances.
We weren't adversaries.
No, we weren't, yeah, right. We didn't hang out, like we don't.
I love it though, because a few years later, you did obviously leave an impression on him, and we're going to get more into that here in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm going to tell you the Victor and Penny love story. I'm behind the story.
Off boogie with you. We're brewing a pot, sturdy and hot.
Oh, if it's sugar.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. We've got Victor and Penny here, Erin and Jeff, actually. So I want to know the rest of the love story. How did it go from being kind of just acquaintances, collaborating, to suddenly a romantic interest?
Yeah. Well, so I was up working in Chicago a number of years ago, 8 years ago, I guess. And Jeff had been living up there for a long time. And Facebook was pretty new, or I was new to Facebook at that time. And Facebook used to say, you might know this person, when it would try to help you find friends. And his name came up in my feed, and I totally remembered him from these bands back here in Kansas City all those years ago. And I knew that he knew a mutual friend, so I wrote him on Facebook and said, hey, I'm Erin McGrane from Kansas City. You probably don't remember me, but I was in Blue Museum. And
I remembered her.
You definitely remembered her. What did you
her.
remember about her that struck you?
I just remember her. I remember her band, of course, Blue Museum, that used to play with my band a lot. And then after she sent me that first message, I started kind of snooping around on Facebook and looking at pictures and stuff and seeing what she was up to. And it's like, oh, yeah, Erin McGrane.
She's kind of left a good impression on you. Got a good vibe.
Yeah, so he said, well, I'm in Blue Man Group and I'm in this band, and do you want to go? And I'm like, of course.
Yeah,
So,
who says no to that?
Yeah, so the first time I went to see you play, he actually had a date that night. He says it's not a date, but I'll tell you, the girl thought it was a date, so.
It was a date.
So, there wasn't anything going on at first, but then I was just continuing to work up in Chicago, and you were there, and we started doing some music together, so we said, let's do a musical thing together. This will be kind of interesting. And out of that just kind of sprang everything. Yeah.
Everything, it just organically
it just
kind of
happened
developed.
over quite some time, because we were in two cities
Sounds like it,
for
right.
4 years.
You were long distance. So, and the crazy thing is you left Blue Man Group to come to Kansas City to be with this lovely lady.
I did, yeah.
Tell us about that decision.
Well, I'd been there for 11 years, and it was a fantastic job. It was like every musician in Chicago wanted to have that job, and I was fortunate enough to work there and met some great people. And
Blue Man Group, you mean?
Yeah, in Blue Man Group, and had great experiences. And I guess after 11 years, and then also, just kind of missing my family, and then after we started getting acquainted, and she was back here in Kansas City, it felt like the right time to make a change.
Well, I can sense that Chicago has a very special place in both of your hearts. Was there ever, did you ever think about setting up shop there and being based out of Chicago?
Yeah, absolutely. That was because I really wanted to move to Chicago. So I was working in two cities for about 6 years, and had an apartment up there and in Kansas City. So was going back and forth and back and forth. And I was kind of thinking about moving up there, but you were really wanting to move back to Kansas City.
I was ready to come back, yeah.
And it kind of hinged on a conversation we had at New Year's Eve, like 2010, I think. We'd been playing out a little bit together as Victor and Penny, and it was really fun. People seemed sort of interested in what we were doing, and we had this conversation like, well, what do you want to do, when you're grown up?
Yeah.
And he said, I want to go on tour, or I want to tour. And I said, I want to tour also. Like, both of us had been in bands that had gone on tour and been on tours.
Okay.
But being a touring band is a different thing.
Okay, tell us the difference. Explain.
Well, going on tours of a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the difference between just going out on the weekends and coming back to your day job during the week.
Okay.
And what we wanted to do is like what we ended up doing a couple years after that is being on the road for 8 weeks straight or 6 weeks straight or things like that.
So our first year we were out, I think 90 days, and then like 160 days, and then the next year we were out 205 days on the road. So by touring band, I mean, we're literally living on the road. We gave up our apartments and everything. And we just really wanted to have that experience, and we felt like, if not now, when, you know, what are we
waiting
for?
Yeah.
So it took us about a year to prepare for that. And part of that was him moving back to Chicago, and then it made sense to base out of Kansas City, which is in the middle of everything.
In the middle of everything. Perfect.
It's where our community is. We feel deeply invested in the art scene that's going on here, and also the Renaissance that's happening here. And we just wanted to make sure we were still part of all of that. So here made perfect sense, and it was the total right decision.
Well, when you guys were on tour, though, because I know that can be such an exhausting experience.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what that did for you as, you know, as a couple, as a band, as musicians. What changed, and how did your music change from that experience of traveling, living on the road? I mean, I would assume it was a pretty hectic life there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big learning curve for both of us. Neither of us had done that before.
The great thing about traveling like that together is we kind of joke, but we're kind of serious about, like, we had a lot of time in the car together to, like, work out our stuff. You know what I mean?
We worked out our stuff.
You know, and
so it's almost like therapy.
Kind of, yeah. But you know, we did. But we found that we could travel like that very effortlessly. You know,
it's a good test.
Yeah, it was.
And then on the other hand, just playing every night, you just get better.
Get
just
really
get better playing
tight.
together. You know, we became kind of one unit. You know, after touring all those years.
Yeah, you just get better really fast, and we kind of developed our own language. Like you know, musically, I feel like we can just understand what each other is doing and saying on stage, even if we're not singing out loud. Yeah, it was great. Well, you know, we've gone, as of right now, about 200,000 miles through 39 states. Wow. That's a lot of time in the car together, and a lot of challenges. I mean, everything. We had to replace the tires, all 4 tires one time. Where was that? Stanley, Idaho, or I don't know.
That's a fun, unexpected expense.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
So there's been lots of challenges. So we also learned how each other deals with stress, and
that's super important. And how do you deal with stress?
As calmly as possible, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only option when you're out like that. You know.
So there wasn't a lot of drama in terms of your dynamic.
No,
we worked it
That's
out.
good.
I mean, I'm not sure everybody would want to live and work and make music and create art with their spouse or their partner, but it works really, really well for us and has continued to be enjoyable. Probably because we're a little bit older too, so we kind of know who we are.
Sure, you've established that. Do you think that dynamic comes across when you guys are on stage? Do you feel like your audience connects with that you are a couple, you are intimately involved, but you're also performers? I mean, you are so connected.
Yeah.
You're very close.
People tell us that.
Yeah.
That they love that. And some people were saying, oh, we knew this long ago that you guys are going to get together, you know. People tell us that all the time, that they love that energy and that connectivity that happens between us. And when we play as the duo, as opposed to playing with a full band like we did on the show, that really comes out because there's no other distraction. You can really see that kind of push and pull and that tightrope act.
A lot of our fans, when we announced that we got married, they were like, "Oh, I thought you were already married."
I thought you were already married. Yeah.
Or
wasn't no big news to them. You know?
Or it was an act. Oh, we thought it was an act.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one or the
No
other.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So tell me about the proposal and the wedding. All the ladies want to know about this.
Yeah, the proposal was awesome. I was totally surprised, which people say you could surely not, but no, really, truly. We've both been married before, and so I don't think either of us felt any push or need or rush to get remarried, and it feels different approaching it the second time, so it wasn't like I was expecting it or we hadn't been talking about it or planning it.
Yeah.
It was right before Christmas, and we decided to take a day off boogie, actually, on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we were going to go see the matinee of Star Wars and then out for dinner and stay overnight at Hotel Phillips, which was going to be our little Christmas present. That was going to be our
This was before
celebration.
she knew anything, of course. I mean,
Wow.
I
So you've been
literally-
planning this.
Not really.
Oh.
It's interesting because you know, her birthday was in July. I thought about doing it then, but I passed on that. And then I thought, oh, maybe Christmas or maybe New Year's would be. And then I literally woke up one morning. It was December 20th. I remember it. It was a Tuesday, and I thought, I'm going to do it today. Today's the day.
I wonder what that was.
I don't know. It just felt like
So it just felt right.
Yeah, it felt like that was the time to do it. And she had some appointments that morning, so I went and dropped her off and then drove around and got a card and got some other things.
I wrote a blog post on our website about this, about the whole, all the ins and outs of that day, because I had no idea what was going on. I'm just at my meetings in the morning, and he was going to come back and pick me up. We car share. But when he picked me up, he was kind of sweaty, and the car smelled like vanilla. And I was like,
vanilla?
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, weird, why the car smells so sweet? It smells so good. He was like, don't know.
You're a bad liar too, right? So you're like sweating.
Yeah.
Something's going on, like, you know. So we went back to our apartment to get our stuff together, and I'm just in the kitchen, blah, 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 talking about all the things we're going to do today. Yeah, and then I look up and he hands me a card. And I thought, oh, that's sweet. It's kind of our Christmas date. Yeah, and I thought, and I opened the card, and as I'm reading the card, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's happening? And then you went in the other room and you came back and you had a ring and just said, Erin, will you marry me? And all the tears. I was so surprised. It was just really perfect. It was perfect, and it was just right there in our kitchen. Felt very real. And in the wedding, that carried through all the way to the wedding.
I saw the wedding pictures. They were beautiful.
Thank you. There's more coming. It takes so long to get through all these things, but it's just very, very real. It feels, I don't know, I guess that's the gift of maybe getting a do-over, is that you get a chance to just really be present in it and come at it from just a very meaningful point of view, by choice. Just, you know, there's no other reason to do this other than we just really.
And I was looking at some of those photos, and you do write on your blog on victorandpenny.com,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So I did notice that there was a really sweet little quote from the Velveteen Rabbit when you were writing about your wedding, and I'm curious why that book is special to you guys.
Well, I would say it's really my blog.
Yeah.
To me, I guess it's because that idea of becoming real, and that you take a lot of bumps and scratches and bruises, and you get your little fur all worn off. But you know, by the time you get to that point, you know what it means to actually be present and be real, and that's a big part of everything that we try to do, is just be present and real in our lives. That comes a lot from my mom too, who passed away 15 years ago, and you know, before I was still young then, and I asked her, I said, is there anything that you can tell me before you go? And she said, the only thing that I can tell you, the only thing I've learned is that life is incredibly short, and you have to stop waiting to do the things that you want to do. You never have enough time, you never have enough money, you're not going to get a sign that says today is the day and it's all going to work out perfectly. You just have to try.
Roll with the punches.
Yeah, so life is short, live it now. So that's part of that too, just being real, being right here in the moment.
That's an amazing lesson from Mom. I love it. Thank you guys so much for sharing your story. And we do have one more song from these guys. Stick around.
Wake up early and get me going. Wake up early and set me rolling. Find the light, turn it on.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. I'm here with Victor and Penny and the Loose Change Orchestra, and you guys are getting a sneak peek at some of their newest material that has not come out yet. The last song we have is called She Says She Knows, and the interesting thing about this song is that it's sort of inspired by a character that you performed at one point.
Right, I played a character called Ruby Falls that I created for about 10 years. And she was this great character that people loved and felt like they knew her, but there was always something else going on underneath. So she's the kind of girl you don't want to fall in love with.
She's kind of sneaky.
Well,
maybe
you
a little deceptive.
You might lose your heart to her.
You might get hurt.
There might be more there than you bargained for.
I like it. I like this mysterious character. And we do want to make sure to remind you guys to follow Victor and Penny on Instagram, victorandpenny.com, and where can we find your music?
Well, I just at Victor and Penny is our handle for Twitter and Instagram, and you can find it on you know, all the
iTunes,
all the things,
iTunes, yes.
all the things.
Yep.
Make sure you guys do that.
Spotify and all that.
All right, this is She Says She Knows. Take it away, guys.
She comes to you in riddles and in camouflage. She's fingerprints left upon the glass. She's riddling you with her invisibility, knowing things you never think to ask. Ooh, she says, oh, she knows. Ooh, she says that she knows. She ravishes and ruins you with sabotage. You glimpse her as she's slipping through the grass.
opportunity.
You should have known all that you'd never be her last.
Ooh, she says, oh, 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 she knows. Ooh, she says that she knows.
Oh, her sleight of hand has got you feeling faint of heart. Her tricks and her turns make you feel so out of place. She says she knows she's played you like an ace.
Ooh, she says, oh, oh, she knows. Ooh, she says that she knows.
She shivers and you shimmer, she's a sweet mirage, a mystery that's just beyond your grasp. She'll mesmerize and vandalize and leave you glassy-eyed. Oh, she's a brutal beauty.